So this is part 5 or 4. Don't quite know how that happened. But anyway, so last time there was a cliffhanger. Did we make people pay for the 1996 event? Spoiler alert, no we didn't. 18th of January 1995. The budget meeting tonight discussed a paying event. I really do not know what I feel about this one. £2-3 per head? The money raised ought to go towards a community reinvestment campaign of some kind. The most obvious idea is to put it into a fund. We're potentially talking about £100,000 plus. What you could do with that is like nobody's business. Sunday, 28th of January. Tom and I had several councils of war over the paying event. This is Tom Brooks, the finance director. The meeting last Monday, this is a management meeting, 23rd of January, was, however, a masterpiece. I went round the table and got them all to declare their positions first. Tom was very matter-of-fact, dealt with issues and other sources of income. Rachel said that she'd resign if it was a paying event. Bob, David and Jed were reluctant, but said it was inevitable. I stopped them all in their tracks. I said it was not inevitable, that trying to clear the deficit in 1 year was absolutely mad, and said that if overheads were held at 100,000, the festival at 300,000, and sponsorships achieved 175,000, then we could cancel it out. Finally, I said I would have to resign if it became a paying event. Jed nearly said that he'd resign if it didn't, but it would have been absolutely absurd if he had. The discussion was brilliant. 3 key things happened. James Stewart, who was our bookkeeper, said he thought it was perfectly reasonable as a budget. Teddy, the festival director, said he could probably bring it in at 300,000, and Bob changed his mind. We had a fag break, and Tom whacked down the budget that we had precast. This clinched it. David raised an objection, 2 in fact, 80,000 for the bucket rattle. It turned out that he'd already agreed that in a previous finance subcommittee. And 65,000 for fundraising. Again, another of his own figures. Tom and I retired to his flat, triumphant, and downed a bottle of wine in 15 minutes. So this is the lovely day programme that we had for Pride 96. And in it does say, sort of quite categorically, please give us a donation. So we did manage to keep the event free as entry, but of course the reason it was free of entry is because it had this whole bunch of sponsors. And the issue of sponsorship at Pride, of course, is hugely controversial. But I thought it might be worth sort of saying something about it, because the Pride Trust did manage to create a pretty strong sponsor base for the event. And we got into a lot of trouble for it because of all these logos everywhere, and Peter Tatchell was always giving us a hard time.
Peter Tatchell, have we lost our way? I think Pride has. I didn't feel it was a gay event at all yesterday. I felt it was, as some of your commentators have suggested, another big free pop festival like Glastonbury or Reading. There's nothing specifically gay about it. If you looked at the main stage, it was surrounded by advertising businesses. Section
28 was absolutely cutting off all public funds. There was no political support for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender pride, apart from, for example, Lambeth Council, which gave us the park for free, providing it was a free event, in fact. There was not enough money in gay businesses to pay for a big festival. And if people wanted a big festival, and we were putting on a big festival, you had to go to mainstream companies to find the cash so that people could walk straight into the festival without ever needing to put any money in a bucket, although we tried to make them do that. So here's another thing which you might find interesting. This is actually our sponsorship pack. This is the Pride Trust logo on the back, and it's got these little pull-out bits. You see, so each one of these is like a little blurb. Well, what is Pride, for example? The demographics of the audience who come to Pride, why you should sponsor, why it's good for you to kind of sponsor it. We've said high branding and visibility. Pride receives excellent nationwide publicity with positive and wide-ranging media coverage. We would say here options for data capture and market research and retail. I don't know whether we were actually that sharp on our data capture, frankly. Here's an example of how you could do it, what you want. So we suggested in return for a single payment of £10,000 plus VAT, you'd get sponsor billing on all advertising, promotion in the market area, prominent placement at the site of a banner measuring 7 metres by 1 metre, which would be paid for by them, 4 VIP passes. We were quite stingy on passes. Recognition as a sponsor, plus free half-page mono advertisement in the official Pride magazine. Readership is 250,000. That's not how many we published. We reckon that every magazine was read by 4 people, I think. Recognition in the official day programme. Then there's a little bit about the Pride Trust, who we are and what we do. And then we have some statements from people who've sponsored with us. So it's very pink pound. We took their cash, they got their publicity, and people got a free event.
Will anything change next year, Adam James? Hyde Park, different theme, entry charge, 30 seconds.
Hopefully Hyde Park, hopefully that we will have a free festival still, and hopefully the main stage will get even better.
But more of a party than ever.
I hope there'll be some politics there as well. I welcome Peter to it, certainly.
Adam
I
James,
thank
Peter
Adam
Tatchell.
and all the other Pride Trust people for their hard work, because I don't think any of us who would try to do that event would ever get it right.